Welcome to the next step, Woodcraft workshop, part 11, where we're going to complete our wooden stool from last week. What we'll do first of all is to cut out a circular piece from the bottom of each of the leg pieces and from the sides. So for that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a black marker, hopefully you'll see it, and my yogurt carton lid had blown away. That's what I'm going to use to draw the circle on the edge of this, on the ends of the sides. So what I'm going to do is just place it there, just so that I can get a nice curve. I mean, you could use any sort of thing. You could use a different kind of curve if you like, but there, I think we'll make quite a nice curve. And on the other side, now I see a knot here. I'm going to avoid that. I'm going to do it the other way around. I'm going to put it here. Knots are very hard bits of wood. They're where the branches would have come out, and they're notoriously hard to manage. So I'm going to we'll forget this one here now. I'm going to put it to this side, and we'll make this new mark here. Just pull it in a bit. That's our two side pieces now. I'll demonstrate with that. For this I'm going to use the coping saw. Now this is an ideal saw for, it's a very, very thin blade, and you can cut very easy curves with this. What I think I'll do is I'll bring the camera a bit closer so that you can actually see what I'm doing. Right. So I'm going to cut on this line here. Let's see if I do it that way. Start from here, and again it's like an ordinary saw. The blade is sharp one way, not sharp that way, so it's only cutting when I'm pressing down. So I'm going to, for this kind of cut, you really want to keep it as vertical as possible. So let's just start away and see. Now I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to start on this side here. It's going to be easier for me to come in off this straight than start in the corner. The other thing with that coping saw is you can adjust the blade. Now that's dead in line, but I'm going to turn it. I'm just pushing these lugs round, and then you tighten it up with the handle. Oops, this is kind of rusty actually. Yeah, that's it tight. So now I should be able to get a nice cut on it. So I'm starting, just going up and down at the moment. Just finding my way into that black line. Trying to keep it as straight up and down as possible. When you're cutting with the grain it's a bit trickier, but when you start to come across, now we're going to be cutting more across the grain, it becomes easier. So just to mind yourself as you do it, try always to keep on the line. If you wander off, go back a small bit, as I just did there. Again, the next step would be using clamps. We do have a coping saw. The next step is to use a clamp. It's quite a bit easier. But nothing can beat going slowly for this. if you try to go fast, you'll inevitably go off that line. Now, I'm coming to the end and it's going to be very weak here, so I'm going to take it quite slowly. I'm quite happy with that. There is a rough bit at the end, but I think we can deal with that with the sandpaper. And sandpaper is a fantastic thing. You can just sit and work away and make it all really perfect. I think I'm happy enough with that as an edge. Now I'll do the other one, and on the other side I'll do it off. So that's our two side pieces cut using the yogurt carton as a template, and what I did was I cut round that way, marked it, cut round that way, and when I'd come to this side I flipped this over and marked from the other side so I could cut that way. If I hadn't, if I'd only marked it on this side, then I was going to have had trouble getting the saw in. So this way and then turn it round, sorry, that way, whatever way, no, this way, then that way. Now for the legs, we need to cut out a half circle here, and what I was going to do was use this paint tin to get the template, to get the circle from it. Now I've measured this and it's 18 centimeters across, so what I'm going to do is half of 18 is 9. I'm going to draw up 9 centimeters and put a mark on both pieces. And then I'm going to just put the can with the top of the can on the mark, on the 9 centimeter mark, and then just judge that that space there for the leg is the same as the other side, and it's pretty much okay actually. Yeah, I'm going to draw it with a pencil. But I think for the benefit of the camera it might be better to use a felt tip pen. So there we go. Same on the other one. Up to the 9 on the inside, and then I'm judging that each leg is the same width. That's it. Now we'll use the coping saw again and cut this piece out. I'm going to adjust the blade. You see at the moment it's lying at an angle like that. I'm going to turn it to the other way, and we'll come at this from here. So again, just keeping on that line and taking it easily and keeping it as vertical as possible. Now, as you'll see, as I'm getting to this point, this part of the saw is hitting here, so I'm going to turn the blade yet again. So I just slacken it slightly and turn it. So now the blade is at right angles to the bow part. Then I have to tighten it up by just twisting the handle. So that's our leg pieces all cut out now, and the next thing to do is to start fixing things together. What I'll do is we'll fix the sides onto the seat first. Let's call this the seat, this is the side. Fix them on. What I would do there is use glue, wood glue. This is the Gorilla Glue, and you're supposed to be able to get the top working. That seems to have seized up, so what I'm going to do here is just use the tried and tested end of a paintbrush, glue along the edge. It's very good glue actually, the Gorilla Glue, but and the top did work properly for a while. I don't know why it stopped. Let's do one at a time. So we will there's the side with the glue. We'll put that here, and this is the other side. We'll use that just to keep it up off the ground. Now this side, we'll match it up. I'm just using my fingers just to feel the flushness here and at the sides, and that's not bad. What we'll do is we'll put a screw in at one end first, and if it's not quite in line we can just adjust it. So I'll just check it's in the right place again. Yeah, it had moved slightly, so I'm going to do one end first. Start from there. So I'm going to make a hole first, pre-drill it. And then change over the bit. I'm pre-drilling it because I don't want the wood to split, and the wood can have a tendency to split if you just plunge straight in with a screwdriver. I'm just going flush with the surface, and that's all right there. Now I'll go to one at the back. Again, making sure it's flush at the side. Swap over, drill bit first. I'll actually drill, no, I'll just drill one more hole. Screw it. Right. So that's the side on. I'll put another screw in the middle and one at the end. Start the other side as well. I think you get the gist, so I'm going to turn the camera off just now and have this bit completed for you. I'm actually way ahead of myself here. There's a bit that's important that we should do, and that is to put the circle in the middle. This hole in the middle of, well, you can see it on the model and on the original one. Is sort of just putting your finger in just so as you can lift it and carry it about. So I should really have done that first, but let's see if we can do it now. So we're going to find the middle point. So we know this is 17 inches long. So that's 8.5. it's well, they say it's 9 inches wide, but it's not 9 inches, it's 8.5. So that is 4.25 wide. So there's the midpoint. Now, how to drill out a hole? I wonder, I know there's a few ways we can do it, and I know the way, how I'm going to resort to, now let's see, I'm going to turn the camera off while I just think about this. Yeah, what I'm going to do is use this big drill, very wide drill, so that's how I'm going to make the hole in the middle. I had thought, you know, I could use the coping saw, but the coping saw wouldn't pass around the ends of the wood. If it was a small square stool, yeah, the coping saw would work. But anyway, we'll go for this big drill. But first of all, I will screw on the other side. So I then have to find the drill bit. Let's just do this off camera. Okay, so there's our top, minus the hole. So I'll just drill away at the hole now. So this is our exact dead centre from this direction and that direction. So it's nice and easy to put the point of that drill right on there. Now when the point comes out the other end, I'm going to, well, it's come out the other end now, so I'm going to turn it over. And the reason for that is that you can then have a neat edge. I mean, that's a relatively neat edge there. Well, if I kept on going through, it's going to splinter from the other side. So I'll use this round piece to protect the table underneath. And in fact, no, I'm going to get something thicker than that because you never know. It's quite a lot. So I cut a bit off here, and it certainly fits better in this direction now. I do see a gap here, and I have to admit that would be over enthusiastic cutting out of that check. This one is far better. It pays to be accurate, and for some reason I must have wandered off the line. We don't need to worry too much about that. It's underneath, it's not immediately visible. Structurally, I've got screws in here, so it's held that way, and 3 screws in the top, so it's held that way. So it's going to be strong enough. When it comes to time to decorate our stool, to finish it off, then all these gaps could be filled with some kind of filler. So that's one leg on now. The other leg needs to be cut down too, as we know. So what I did on that side was, the other side, I placed the leg in position, then I used the pencil, inside of the pencil, and I just ran the pencil along. Now, what that does is it follows the shape of the cupping, and so it's slightly bowed, as we know. So it's not a straight cut. I won't use this because we've already had a straight cut here, and that's proved inadequate. So we're going to do a kind of bent cut, and this involves just, if you can see that line, I don't know if you can see it. I'll use the felt tip pen, and maybe that'll be even clearer. So I'm holding it in the leg in the position it should be in. I'm running the felt tip pen along and I'm going to cut off that amount, which should close up the 2 gaps. Now this felt tip pen is wider than the pencil, so I'm going to stay slightly off the mark, slightly down from the mark. But anyway, I can see it going up in the middle and I want that. And so instead of cutting straight, I'm going to try and cut on a small curve. I was just checking I was film was switched on there. Now, we're going to hope there. And I'm pretty happy with that. If I go any more, I'll be in danger of this of it having to cut somewhere else to make it level. So, do what we did before, put the glue on the top and down into the two checks. And then out of interest, I'm going to turn it around and see if that looks any. No, we're right first time. Sometimes things can look better when they're turned round, but we'll try it there. You can see our stool is starting to take shape, and I'm going to screw, as we did before, one right in the middle. I'm not bothering with the drilling just now. Oops, that's all right. Yeah, and I'm adjusting it from the side just to try and get it nice and straight. Oh, now, there's a thing. It would help if I knew where the leg was on the top, and I'm going by the mark I've made there on this side and the mark on the other side. So the leg is to the left of that line, or should be. Surely can't have moved too far. That's all right, and so I'll put another one in here. I'm just when I've used the screw gun, I just run my finger over the top just to feel that it's flush with the surface. And this wood is nice and soft, and it does do that. Then we'll put a couple in from either side, and for these, yeah, we'll just drill away. Actually, no, I'm going to use the drill just to give some pilot holes. It can, you know, when you use the screwdriver without drilling first, it can split the wood. So we're just going to put the bit in and just drill some holes, and I'm going to put them. We know this leg is behind here. I won't put them in line with each other. I'll put them slightly offset if I can, because there's not much room to play with. But the more you have not in line, the better, because if you put in screws or nails all in the same line, there can be a tendency for the wood to split along the line of the screws. So that's us. big test, of course, is will it be level? He said with a mouthful of screws, will it be level? Oh, actually it feels quite level. It feels quite sturdy. So that would be, I think that's it. Pick it up with a hole in the handle, a hole in the seat. Yep, nice and neat there. Yeah, there is a small gap there. To get rid of that gap, which would have been a good thing, then you would saw a little more here and there, and it would lower down. You'd need to do the same with this side, otherwise the stool would be a bit uneven. But I think it's going to work all right. Obviously, you would take a lot longer if you were doing it yourself. And next week we'll deal with finishing it off. You know, giving it a good sandpaper, filling up maybe screw holes, filling up any gaps. But for the moment, that's it. And I'm just going to see if it actually works as a stool. So. Oh, it does. Yeah. Seems fine. Seems fine. Can I get up again? Yep, that's it. So until next week, I hope you have a good week, and I'll see you then, and we'll finish it all off. But that's structurally the stool made. Thanks, folks.